Hello, everybody. Responsible teens in the building. Are you there? It's another weekend and time for Purity Gist with Auntie Tima. So, I've been so excited. I don't know why. Maybe along the way, you guys will understand why I'm so excited. So, I have a guest with me in the studio. I'm sure you're wondering who is this fine uncle? Is he auntie's brother? Is he auntie's brother? Is he auntie's
I'm
friend?
shy.
Is he
I'm
auntie's
shy.
uncle? Is he
I'm
auntie's sister?
shy.
Who is he? Okay, so today I have with me someone who calls me his sister, and I call my brother. I also call him my friend. Yes, Auntie has friends too. Yep, yep. But my friends are purity friends. So if you're not carrying on the flag of maintain your white, purity is possible. Please shift, pack well. So I'm so delighted to have Uncle Ima. Ima, anybody that comes here becomes automatically an uncle. I don't care if you're a doctor, I don't care if you're an engineer. Once you step into this studio, you are
Become an
uncle.
uncle.
You become an uncle, yes. Mhm. So you're going to be hearing a lot of uncle. Is you we are calling.
I
So we
received my
have Uncle
title.
Ima. You receive it in Jesus'
Uh,
name.
amen.
Yes, you guys are in for a blast. Uncle Ima in fact, anytime I remember him, what I remember about him is how he used to act. He has that gift. Come, what did you do with that talent? I know.
Is
Don't tell me you just said it though, because the Lord will ask you for it.
Antitima, Nollywood and Hollywood is too small. So I just decided, let's just,
You're waiting for heaven.
and Nollywood is
Iman is such
overrated.
a good actor.
Mm.
He acts so well. He has a good, wonderful sense of humor that you just want to be with him every time. Ima, should I tell you something? Let me confess, because we're going into confession time now. We're
Okay.
going to just start with confession time. You
Go on.
guys made, you guys made, our teenage a very interesting one. So, like I said in my book, Maintain Your White, when I
Mm.
joined FECA, and by the way, to every responsible teenager, FECA is the Federal Ex-Student Christian Association. It's a fellowship for youths. So we just finished
Mm.
secondary school. You are grabbed at FECA, and then you're trained and kept in the way of the Lord, spiritual fervency, and all that. So that's where I
Mm.
met Ima. And when I just joined, I was like, who is this bros? You think it's call you guys brothers. Who is this brother? This brother just is just bubbly, is just lively. Okay, so they made teenage a very wonderful time. I never missed going to clubs. I never missed going to shows because you guys were the shows that were the shows that so Iman was in the drama unit and he would act so well. And even when he's not acting, even when we know we're just chilling, he will make us laugh. It was just the life of the party. So thank you so
Oh,
much, Iman, for that. Thank you. We
thank
need
you,
a
ma.
lot of you in our circles. We need a lot of your kind of
Mm.
personality. And I'm speaking to every responsible teenager listening to
Mm.
me. If you are the bubbly type, the more godly
Mm.
you are, the better for the people in your sphere of contact. Okay,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so we don't have to miss anything. People feel that Christianity is boring.
Mm.
I don't think so because from what I saw in fellowship those days, it was fun
Mm.
all the way. Even the way we
Yes, it
read
was.
scriptures, even the way we shared our remarks, everything was
Mm.
just interesting. So thank you
Mm.
so much for joining me. Uncle
Thank you
Ima is
for
now in
having
the
me.
UK. He looks so young, don't be deceived. I'm going to expose
Ah,
you. He is
calm down
married.
now. Calm down.
He
Calm down.
has two boys.
uh,
And it's just amazing. And I want to
thank
believe
you.
that these are the rewards of walking the purity journey.
Oh
I
yes.
want
Oh
to
yes.
believe that these are the rewards of serving God as a youth. Do you have any
Absolutely.
regrets keeping yourself?
No.
I don't need to ask. So what did you do? I was there, so I knew. And the thing with tech is that we don't need to be told to defend ourselves. We just knew
No.
that
We
we are
know
still
the
on the
yeah.
field. We knew it. And
We knew
so I want to
the
know, mhm,
if there are any
any
regret. There are no. There
correlation.
The thing about it is, okay, so two things I was going to say. So first and foremost, about being bubbly and being yourself. That's the main thing. You have to be yourself. I always used to say, people who carry long faces all the time. I say to my wife, anger cannot boil yam. It cannot boil potato. So no matter how angry you are, you're just venting.
Calm down. Is that
I
what they're
remember
talking
many
about?
years ago, I was a teenager. Yeah, and this time I was a teenager. I think it was in Calabar. I was so angry at my elder sister. I can't remember what she did. Bumina, I was really angry with
Yeah.
her. That anger that will make you vibrate. I was vibrating. So she said, if you are angry, just go outside and kick a tree. You'll be fine. And I said, wow. So I'm vibrating like this, and all you can think about is me kicking a tree. So since then, I mean, it doesn't. Be yourself. Be yourself. Don't take. Be serious, obviously, but don't be too harsh, so to speak, on yourself. Be yourself. Be patient with yourself. Live your life as God has called you to. To
Yeah.
your question, do you have any regret? Do I have any regret? Why would I have? What's there to regret? What's there to regret? There's nothing to regret. There's absolutely nothing to regret, because at the end of the day, I'm living I'm living the life that God called me to be. I lived in purpose then. I didn't, I kept myself. So there was nothing, although I know we're going to talk more about what was done and how it was done, and, and all the background gist to it. We are getting there.
You know?
But now in 2020, looking back at those years, there is absolutely nothing to regret. And then someone who is listening to this, who will be asking themselves, okay, let me just do it now. Let me just do it now. See, believe you me, if you do it at some point or at every point going forward, you will remember the fact that you shouldn't have. Okay, because doing it opens up. I know in the book there was a lot about, it opens you up to, there's gateways to loads of stuff which we may not be talking about today. But where I stand now, looking back, I do not have one kobo or $1 or one penny. Whoever is listening, wherever you are in the world, I don't have any
Oh,
regrets at all. If I had another chance, Auntie Tima, I'll do it all again. I'll do it all again. I'll stay sane. I'll keep my senses and keep to my, stay, maintain my white. I guess
yes.
that's going to be my
Your
slogan
cliche.
today.
Yes, right. You were there with me, like I was saying earlier, when we heard that message together. And
Yes.
all didn't plan to just hold it tightly, but we all did. Somehow that message of
Mm.
maintain your wife, my children go like, oh, not again. Like,
May have come again.
anyway, we are
the,
preaching how it's okay to save the world. We are adding maintain your wife inside you. Because
the thing about it,
hmm,
Auntie Tima, the thing about it now, you've mentioned something really interesting, because then, yeah, we always used to get told about, right, are you thinking about your future? It wasn't just about where we were, it was about thinking about where we are going to. So
mhm.
I guess if a teenager thinks about his future a lot, you think about where you're going. And I don't mean thinking about the future so much so that you're not living in your present. Live in your present, but have the mentality of, right, okay, my future is bright, I must get there. And because it's bright, I have to keep away from these things. I've got to maintain myself. And then maintain my white in terms of purity. You get into scriptures, you go people with like-minded people like yourself. And back then, scriptures like, I made a covenant with my eye, I will not look upon a woman lustfully, and then when you're surrounding yourself with people who you are accountable to, you begin to live those scriptures, live. So I mean, you've got to think about where you're going to. You've got to know that life doesn't start and stop, wherever you are, Abuja,
Wherever
Lagos,
you
wherever,
are now.
Nigeria, life doesn't start and stop there. It's more. It's more. It's more. And if you think it's more, you have to do more. You have to be more. Okay. And being more means, not just acting. Don't act like a 18-year-old or 19-year-old. Have that
Mhm.
mentality, have that knowledge that, right, okay, my actions have consequences, and be responsible. I know that's a lot, but let me pace myself. Let me not be talking too much. Sorry, Auntie Etima. It's your show, Abi. Let me leave you. Please
No,
talk,
it's
man.
okay. We're doing this gist together, and I'm enjoying the gist. Okay, so
Okay.
let me start with okay, let me bring in family first because you
Okay.
mentioned something about your sister. And by the way, I might had two sisters in Feka. He had one elder sister and one younger sister. I don't know how the three of them managed to have a sense of humor in three different ways. So his elder sister was more calm, but the minute she opens her mouth, you laugh.
Something
You are.
happened.
The younger one, a bit not so quiet. The moment she opens her mouth, it was just the. It didn't have to do with your family. It didn't have to do with how you were brought up.
I guess, for people who know me, I mean, you met my dad. You know, my dad
Yeah,
has
that
that
and mom.
lovely, yeah, you've got that sense of humor. So, and me, I'm number three out of five. I mean, Etima, you know, number three out of five. I'm in between two girls, so I settled a lot of their fights in the past. So, you know, I'm number three. Number two is a girl. Number four is a girl. So at the end of the day, it was all about just, you know, being yourself. And I guess that togetherness as a family, you know, it helps. You know, it helps when you're in a difficult situation and then someone, you know, cracks a joke or something, and there's that laughter. You know, we
Yeah.
laugh first. I mean, it's and life is more enjoyable when you're smiling. I don't know the statistics. I know there might be future doctors listening to this and they will quote me and spoil my political career. But if you, I think it takes more muscle. There's more muscles to frown
Yeah.
than to laugh. I think it
Mm.
takes is it 17 to frown and 3 to
Mm.
laugh or something like that. So to
Yeah.
smile. If you go to Google and Google it and you see that I'm wrong, just pretend that I'm right. Just leave it.
Mm.
Mm.
So, what of purity at home? Did your parents take time to teach you guys purity? Did you have purity talk? Did you have discussions around crush, girlfriend, boyfriends, and
Oh
all
yeah,
that?
oh yeah, oh yeah. You know the talk, the talk that you have, before getting into your teenage and all that. So all that was done. So the foundation was set. So personally, I grew up in Benin before coming into Calabar, and Benin was, another talk for
Yeah.
another day because it was, growing up in Benin was something else. There are things I saw growing up that people will live 50 years and not see because Benin exposed me to a lot of stuff like that. It was really, really interesting. And then at home, you get told a lot. I mean, my mom is the one that would tell you in morning prayers, morning devotion. See, you're born again for yourself. Your father's salvation, your mother's salvation won't take you to heaven. You need to get. So evangelism started at the family altar, at the pulpit. So you had to meet Christ at the pulpit, and then morning devotion, was a lot because sometimes we spend maybe an hour plus, depending on what we're talking about, and those talks began to drop nuggets into foundations, that made me always remember two things: where I'm coming from and where I'm going to, because those things are very, very important. So at home, purity was taught. Purity was, mentioned a lot about from a perspective of where you're coming from. Don't bring shame to this family. I know a lot of teenagers can relate to that. And then where you're going to, you have to think about your future. So it got mentioned a lot at home. But then again, it's not just about listening to it being mentioned. It's about, you know, taking a decision, to begin to do those
Yeah.
things you've heard.
Taking
And I guess
on.
that's where, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's where a lot of people would struggle with, because it's not just about hearing it being spoken. It's about making that decision. And I know we're going to come to that later on when we're talking about the practical things a person can do that will
Yeah.
keep them pure. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was taught. It was taught a lot. And in my time, making me sound old now. I have about three gray hair. In my
You
time,
are old. You are old.
in my time, I tell you, in my time, the whole thing was, before leaving Benin. I think I left Benin when I was about 12 years old. So at that time, a lot of people are started talking about, girlfriend, boyfriend. We're not even 13 yet. 14, talk intensified. So in my time, there was a lot of talk about it. Then there wasn't any mobile phones, so someone can argue that maybe we're not necessarily as tempted as they are now. But then the truth about it is, even then, without mobile phones, the letters people used to write, love letter, child,
The letters,
you
eh?
know,
Those letters, right?
ditto. I,
Those letters.
I pick a pen from my golden box of love to present to you this day. an offering of sacrifice of love.
Mm-hmm.
But at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I said,
Mm-hmm.
it was taught a lot. But the thing about it is making a decision to remain pure.
Also, like one pastor now. I want you to
So
tell
who
me
sounded
those
like
fecal
pastor? Sorry,
days
me?
when brothers stay together. What did you guys that part of the discussion? You just sounded like a man of God. So now,
Ah,
when sorry, sir, sorry, calm down.
okay, okay,
Fecal
okay.
days.
I was about to
When
send fire.
sorry, sir. When brothers gathered, what did you guys talk about? Did you guys admire some sisters? You like this sister, not bad, this kind of this sister. As in, speak the truth and shame the devil.
Ah,
Speak the
Sister Etima, Auntie Etima, at the CN. Okay, from my because I'm sharing a lot of personal stuff here. So two things. So in I had friends, I mean, and a lot of people will be able to relate to this. You sort of compartmentalize your friends. So if that's big English, you have friends in different places.
in
So you have friends
here.
that are in church, you have
Mhm.
friends that are in school,
School.
you have friends, and then most of the
Mhm.
times these friends don't know themselves. You are the one that connects all the dots together, you know.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like that. I had friends in Feka, I had friends, neighbors around the house, I had friends everywhere. And it depends on the circle and trying to be of influence to that circle. So take for example, I could be amongst a circle of friends who maybe after lesson, I don't know if they still do lesson was that thing they
Yes,
used to
in
go
those
to
days,
prepare.
jam lesson.
Yes, I don't.
Hi, that place was
Yes.
a den of toasting and being toasted. Jam lesson.
Ah, Sister Auntie Tima, you find yourself, you go there, and
Yeah.
some people will write jam the first year, jam won't jam will jam them.
Jam
You
them.
register for the lesson again the second year, jam will jam them. I used to make a joke. If I tell you how many times I wrote jam, I have jam T-shirts. They sent me T-shirts. They were happy with my patronage. you know, they in the front like this, jam at the back. Thank you. See you next year. Anyway, jokes apart, jokes apart. The thing is, because of these different circles of friends, you will be
Mhm.
tempted with different talks. So, for example, with Feka and being in Feka, brothers, we didn't talk about sisters that way. No, we didn't talk about the girls that way. What we talked about more was scripture, where we are trying to you will quote one person, and there was a lot of laughs
I'll
around.
do. Friends, I'll do each other.
Yes, and
Mm.
then what we do as well is we treated all the sisters in fellowship. I mean, Auntie Etima can
Sure.
confess. We treated all the sisters in the fellowship as our own sisters. Even when we went for conventions together. The other day we were talking about those conventions that we went to. We had lovely time, and we treated us, all the girls, we are treated as our sisters. And then, in other circle of friends where they might bring about discussion about girls, I was a Christian. I gave my life to Christ at a very, very young age. I know a lot of people might be able to relate with that. People who come from Christian homes. I gave my life to Christ at a very, very young age. So there are things where I did not have I'll put luxury in inverted comma. I did not have the luxury to partake in. So, for example, things like, see a girl on the street and you want to toast or you want to chike, depending on where you are and the slang you use, you know. But I didn't have the luxury to partake in all that sort of thing. What we did was we tried to keep our heart pure, with most of my friends in fellowship, in fact, at that time, keep our heart pure, relate with the sisters as sisters. If people or someone is
My
having birthday,
sister.
yeah, you treat them as your own sister. And I had two sisters.
Mhm.
So
So
within
you
that
could
circle,
relate
so my
personally.
own responsibility was raised to power two. Somebody say hallelujah. You know. Uh,
Hallelujah.
so yeah, to answer your question, Auntie
Mhm.
Tima, I had to treat all the sisters as my own sister. And I think there's I think in book of Titus, when Paul was saying to Titus, is it Titus or Timothy, one of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
he said to treat them
Treat
as,
the other one.
yes, as
Mm.
your own and treat the moms as your own moms. Okay. And I think that's what helped me personally a lot, because I was able to relate with them on that level.
Okay, so did you have a crush is not a sin. A crush is not a sin. A crush is
Mm,
not fornication. A crush is
mm.
not a bad thing. Did you have crush? Did you have a crush?
Okay.
Can you
um
remember
be-
her?
so this question that you are asking me now, this table that you are shaking,
Hmm.
are you comfortable of breaking this?
Yes,
You
I
want the
want to
table
shake it
to
and
break?
scatter the head. Yes,
You want it to finish? eh?
yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, since we are
So that you
talking,
tell us how you handle it.
okay, I had crushes, because
Mm-hmm. I
not
know
only
it.
was I crushed once, I was crushed many times. Hallelujah. I was broken into pieces. I was crushed. I mean, see, let me be serious. I know Etima say we should, Auntie Etima say we should be serious.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there were people who I liked. There were people who liked me. And those days, I don't know if it happens now. Sometimes if you want to be, there were different ways to show that someone liked you. Growing in primary school that time, you picked up a stone in Benin and you stoned a girl. That means you like the girl. You just pick up stone on the street and you stone her. That means you like her. I don't know if it happens. I don't know if it happens these days. I know there is a local government somewhere in Nigeria. They say there is marriage by elopement. You can wait by when the girls are going to the river to fetch water. If you see one that you like, you pack her and then you run. But anyway, I'm not saying all that. there are people there are people that, obviously, there are people you would like, and then there are people that would like you. So I liked people. There were sisters that I liked. Okay. Now, how did I deal with it? Because I think that's the most important thing. Bearing in mind that I wasn't allowing myself to, unmaintain my white. I wasn't allowing my clothes, my garment of righteousness to be, stained. How did I deal with all that? I mentioned the point just now. First and foremost, I had to tell myself a lot that these people were my sisters and I was responsible for them. I was responsible for them meant that I should be the one protecting them from wolves, so to speak. I shouldn't be the wolf here. I'm not the wolf. I'm related to the shepherd. Jesus is a good shepherd. So I told myself, from a standpoint, spiritual standpoint, I am responsible for these ones, and
That's right.
I've got to be responsible. And then secondly, I made a decision with myself. The Bible says in the book of Job, it said Job made a covenant with his eyes. So I see there's a starting point. People don't just fall into temptation and lose their purity like that. The day a person sinned is not the day they made a decision to sin. Or rather, the
Oh,
minute or the second a person sin is not that time they made that decision. They've made that decision before. So it builds up. Job said, I've made a covenant with my eyes. So the eye is the inlet. The eye is what leads into the heart, so to speak. And the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it comes the issues of life. So I told myself I would not look upon someone lustfully. There won't be any lustful thing in my heart. So my heart will be an issue of life, not lust. So and that was a really, really difficult thing to do sometimes. It's a really difficult thing to do sometimes when someone is telling you openly at school, see, I like you, forget it. you know and the school I went to, I'm a unique one. I think I went to 4 different secondary schools, and that was not because I kept failing, because Auntie Tima, you know me now, I'm sharp. I don't fail like that. you know
wow.
the I went, I went to
Smart
four
guy.
different secondary schools. And then in secondary school, someone can write you a note and say, see, I have a crush on you, I like you, let us do like this, let us do like that. You have to be serious about your conviction to yourself, first and foremost. You are a responsible person, and you are responsible like Joseph to God. Okay, Joseph said, how can I do this sin against God? So first and foremost, as a Christian, your responsibility or your accountability starts first with God. You'll answer to God first. And the Bible says in the book of First Peter, if judgment shall begin in the house of God, then forget it. Because if you say you're a Christian, and then you are doing anyhow that you are not supposed to do, and judgment is starting in the house of God, where will you run to? Where can a man who has beef with God run to? If God has beef with you, who are you going to go to say, help me from God?
Where?
So those two things form my basis. First and foremost, like I said, told myself I would treat them as sisters. They are my personal sisters. Okay, I'm going to look after them. And then secondly, I told myself I was responsible for them. And in being responsible for them, I had to, tell my eyes to look differently. I know one of the brothers used to say those days, many, many years ago, he said, you can look but not see. He said, when you look and you see, that's the problem.
Whatever.
When you look and see, that's the problem. So I told my eyes,
So you see now, we are back. I'm hearing this.
I missed that point. What did you talk?
Oh my God. No, I said I'm hearing the back end gist now. Those days. So those are the things you guys were using to help each other.
My sister, in fact, you remember Cave of Adullam, Cave of Adullam as a brother. And the thing about it, so you have to surround yourself with people who are like-minded. You have to surround yourself with people who are like-minded. In Cave of Adullam, a place, where brothers used to go and meet, before Brothers' Day. We would spend hours and hours and hours praying. What are we praying about? We are praying, God, keep me, Lord, keep me. I don't want to make mistakes. My life is so precious. It's so precious. I don't want to make mistake. I don't want to let it fall to the ground. I don't want to, I don't want to offend you. I don't want to grieve your spirit. I'm caught between two roads. What my body wants to do and what you need me to do. Help me to make the right decision. For hours and hours and hours, people sweating and groaning because they wanted to maintain their white. Now, everyone I can remember, whoever prayed those prayers with me in that room those many years ago, I don't think anyone regrets that decision. Because when I look at them now and look at their lives now, many of them are pastors. You have people, world shakers, doing things all over the world. And me too, as a world shaker too, and just conquering the nations for Christ. So there is nothing to regret in making a decision to maintain your white and to maintain purity. So let nobody lie to you as a teenager that you have loads to lose, by deciding to do as God wants you to do. Let nobody, because that's a lie from the pit of hell. Yeah, Auntie Tima, touch your neighbor, say, I hear you.
I hear you. Good. I hear you.
Good. Yes. Yes.
So you have just stirred up something in me, and I just, let me say it this way: the world
hello
makes it look as if the girls are the ones that. I'm delighted to understand that, to know rather from you right now. I knew that you guys were cooking yourselves up. Point. Well, that was the focus on yourself. It's good to know that you realize that this thing is about you. I mean, and that's why Feka was safe for the sisters, because after hot message, no brother went for a program and we finished late, responsible for making sure all the sisters got home or
yes
got to their destination safe. I learned to, and it was awesome. I'm glad to know that it wasn't just by chance. It was a deliberate action, and I'm hoping that God will give me the grace to start the Cave of Abdullah for my teen boys. I would be so delighted to bring in that cave, because that cave did a lot of wonders in you guys'
It
life,
did.
and
It
I'm
did.
grateful for that. Really, I'm grateful because hey, you guys are everywhere in the world. You're in the US, you're in the UK, you're in Ghana, Nigeria, all states, and not one scandal. Then, not one scandal now. For that,
Amen.
give God all the glory.
Amen.
We thank God for that. Okay, so let's go to the practical things. In Maintain Your White, the book, Brother Ifa wrote a message to the boys, and he was very practical. Okay, so he mentioned certain things. I'm going to just read. Okay, there are four of them. I'll just read one or two, and then okay, no, I'll read like three, and then you tell me practically how that worked for you. So it says, camels become a camel. Camels begin and end each day on their knees. Let your first and last words each day be to God. Closely tied to that is word up. Read the Bible before breakfast. It is good practice. Meditate on a verse. It will light up your mind. So did you read scripture because you were a pastor's son? That's one part I didn't tell them. Ima is a pastor's son. Hmm.
I
Did you read your Bible? Did you talk to God because you were told to, or did you just get to that point where you realize that this is about me, about my life, about my destiny?
yeah.
I need to do this because let me tell you why. The teenagers we see today, they come to church like the first three. Read Bible is boring. Go to Christian programs is old school. I don't understand.
See, Auntie Etima, I wish I had my pen now because I want to give a structured response. The question you're asking now is making my body do jiggy jiggy jiggy. You see how my phone is shaking. My body is just doing jiggy 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 because there's a lot of things that you are mentioning that I want to be able to touch. So okay, I will put that comment around Pastor Efa's message. I'll answer. I'll make a comment on that last. First, I want to address this issue that says being a Christian is not fun. Now, in the UK here, there's a lot of teenagers. I teach teenagers. I teach children. I teach teenagers, and I teach adults in church. Now, there's a lot of teenagers that will come up and say, right, okay, serving a Christian, serving God is not. It's not fun. There's a lot of fun things I want to do, but I feel like I'm restrained. And I ask them, okay, what is the fun thing that you want to do? And then it boils down to one of two things. It boils down to they feel like they are missing out on something that they should have. And they feel, okay, serving God makes me miss out. It makes me miss out on friends. It makes me miss out on other things that other people think I should be doing. And then there's the influence factor as well. People are getting influenced. The Bible says in the book of Job, he said, what you know, the same do I know. I'm not inferior to you. So at the end of the day, you should be able to tell yourself as a teenage Christian, I am excited serving Christ. See, my dad used to say many, many years ago, get lost in it. Because Jesus pays. Serving God pays. He pays currency in this life. Yeah? Make no mistake about it. It pays currency in this life and it pays in the life to come. Serving God pays. It pays. Get lost in it. There is fun in serving God. Serving God means looking into the lives of people. Serving God means serving people, so to speak. It means, being of service. Get involved in church, get involved in a department, get involved in what that department is doing, speak to people, evangelize, encourage one another. It's about getting involved in other people's lives, and that's serving God. That's pouring yourself up as a drink offering. So people who come out and say, it's not fun, no, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. Nonsense. What do you want to do? At the end of the day, you want to do this and that. But this and that is not getting you anywhere. Because the fun you are missing out on in serving God, there's a lot to be gained. There's a lot to be gained. And people should not tell you otherwise. Serving God, if you feel yeah, that serving God for you is not fun, then there's a question around if you are a believer in the first place. And I know I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
be shaking a big table there. Because
Shaking
if you
very
love him, if you love him, if you love him, if you serve him because you love him out of love, it should be fun for you. It should be fun. Okay. I mean, some of the things you do might be, I mean, we are talking about the other day, Auntie Tima, if you remember the call we had with other Feka brethren, when we're recounting, someone was telling stories about how we went for a convention, the car broke down on the way, but yeah, we got out, we pushed the car, there was mud all over our bodies. And many years ago, we are remembering that story and we are telling it with such passion, with such vigor. If you ask all those people telling those stories, would you do it again? The answer is yes. Why is he
That's
yes? Because
right.
we absolutely love him. We love him.
Yeah.
If you don't love him, you will find it a chore. You will find it boring. If you don't love him, you'll find it. But how do you love him more? By getting on your knees, which ties me into the next point. The excerpt from the book. By getting on your knees, by starting the day like a camel, on your knees, and at the end of the day on your knees. Prayer is communication with God. There is nothing too unclean that you cannot tell God about. I
Mm.
remember the first time I heard somebody tell me this thing. I say they were saying, right, okay, yeah, there's some things you should not include in your prayer. If you have crush on that girl or that boy or whatever, you're asking. You say somebody will say, don't. God doesn't want to hear those kind of things. See, listen to me. Baba God is your father. At the end of
That's
the day,
right.
he's your father. He's your father, and
Mm-hmm.
he wants to
Mm-hmm.
know. He wants to know not because he doesn't know. Oh my God.
That's
It's
right.
not because he doesn't know, because he's omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. So he hears, he sees, and he knows. Okay?
That's
At
right.
all times. God at all points hears, sees, and knows everything at all times and at all points. Now he wants to hear from you to know how you feel. Because at the end of the day, when you confess your heart, you're feeling this way, you're feeling that way, you need his strength. Is that brokenness that keys into him, and then you can get the strength you're looking for. So
That's
you need to go down on your face and confess and ask for strength. And ask for strength. Because that's the way to beat it. That's the way to beat it. And then
the way.
treat every day like it was the last. Because the Bible says, Paul said, in First Corinthians, I think, he said, I die daily. So there's a daily commitment to living a life of purity. There's a daily commitment to living a life of holiness. It's a daily commitment. It's a daily commitment. So you stay pure, you stay sane daily, you renew that daily. Okay, and you should never get tired of that, because in doing that you are only fulfilling a part of your relationship agreement between yourself and Baba God. Okay, so
God.
there's a relationship agreement. You are born again, there's a relationship. He's your father, you are his son, or you are his daughter. So part
Mm.
of that relationship agreement is fellowship. So he's your father, you are his son or daughter. You should have fellowship. You should talk. And a lot of us just talk, we don't listen. you know
Mm.
and it's not just teenagers. We talk, we don't listen. So we have to talk, we have to listen. And then a lot of us, we listen but we don't obey.
We don't do.
we don't do we don't do we don't do as they say we should do. Okay,
Mm.
because of different reasons. I know that's out of scope for today, make an novice. But the truth about it is, to your point, and I absolutely resonate with this, we need to, as teenagers, as believers, boys, girls, whatever, in maintaining purity, you have to stay connected to God in prayer. Okay, that's very, very important. Very, very important. I cannot overemphasize that. Jesus prayed. He came from prayer and he walked upon water. Okay, so prayer will do for you miracles. It will open doors for you. And that person that you don't want to talk to again, after prayer, when I say that person you don't want to talk to again, I'm not saying you should go and keep malice. I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
you should be fighting with other people. But there are some people that are in your life that you should stop talking to. There are other people that
Yeah.
are in your life that you should start talking to. When I say
Mm-hmm.
talking to, I mean pouring out your heart to them. Okay, because there are some people who are wolves. You know that they are wolves. And I know, they say, Auntie Etima, please stop me if I'm talking too much, because
I
the way
will.
the thing is doing me.
No,
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
sir. I will.
The way the thing is doing me, let me just say it. The the
Okay.
the 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 temptation is for you to look outside and say that what is outside is better than what is in your house. That's the
Mm-hmm.
temptation. Those people outside, they're living a life, they're enjoying. So what they
They're
are doing
enjoying.
outside is better than what you have. So because you are looking outside, you are not looking at what you have. So as believers, teenagers, whatever age you are, you need to love God more. You need to look inward, develop that fellowship, develop that relationship, let it bud, let it grow, let it, come to life. And then you will be able to tell those ones outside that they have nothing. You begin to, the influence will go the other way around. They will begin to look into your house and say, that thing that you have, can I have it? And,
Yes.
and say, Tima, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. I'm about to sound very spiritual, and you'll be wondering, this guy with his bear is sounding very spiritual. See, the thing about it is, many years ago, I went to University of Port Harcourt, and we were praying. We were in, I think we were just about year one at that time, and this is a true life story. Myself and a few friends, we got into prayer. We started praying, God, we want to enjoy Christian life. Let the beauty of Jesus be seen in me. Let the beauty of Jesus be seen in me. Let the beauty of, we were praying a very good heart, praying, want to change the world. We want to really enjoy. Do you know, as we came out of prayer, we were walking down towards the hostel. As we crossed a road called East West Road, some people who live in Port Harcourt, we know that road, East West. We crossed to go to the other side to begin to walk towards the hostel. This guy ran from the other side of the road. He ran towards us. And you know what he said to us? See, I want to be
Hmm.
like you. And I said,
Ah.
sorry, I don't know you. We don't know you. He said, no, I know you don't know me, but I want what you have. I want to carry what you carry.
Ah.
I want to be like you. I
You
want to
don't
be
mean
like
it.
you. I called this boy. I said, okay, come, let us, because he was almost causing a scene. I said, let us stand, because I'm a gentle person.
Hmm.
You know me, I don't like fights. I said, let us stand by
Hmm.
this side of the road. Let us talk more. He said, no, that as we were
Ah.
walking down, there is something he saw that he wants. He wants that peace. He wants that, he knows that we are carrying something. And that was evangelism without even talking. Okay. That
Wow.
was saying, oh God, we want to enjoy the life. Okay. And then we found out that this guy was in cult. He was a cultist from another school. Okay. And he was at the point of losing his life. And what am I telling you? Then I was 19, 20. Okay, 19 years, 20 years old. At that age, we arranged for him to be settled, to leave that place. I'll talk about what we did another day. But basically, from prayer and wanting to know more about God, wanting to enjoy the Christian
God.
life, that acted like a magnet to attract people to Christ. So don't say it's boring. It's not boring. It's not boring. Get into the business of affecting lives. You cannot just come and sit down in choir and do nothing, and sit down as an usher and do nothing.
Did you remember, we used to go for programs, okay? So Bimbo Dukoya is in town, we are there. This one is in town, men of what House on the Rock,
Absolutely, absolutely. See, and then we were also invited. You invite ministration team that time, you invite drama team to go minister, in different places. See, we got involved. We wanted to know more. We invested. You know, I remember my friend Bidemi. I would buy, maybe I'll buy a book, or I'll buy a tape, an audio tape about a message. So after you listen, I better give it to me. Let me listen. And then. We didn't have much, but we invested what we had in building ourselves, and we got into the groove of it.
Yeah, this is the same thing.
See, at the end of
And now the both of you are in the UK.
my
I'm just envying you
sister,
people. I beg, Joe. Hmm.
don't envy us, abeg. ah, it is well.
Okay, so let's go to the next point. The next point is communicate your faith. Okay, let's leave that. I think you've talked a bit about that. Let's talk about what go to. So this is not about where everybody knows that you go to. When you are on your way home and you are alone, when you are in
Hmm.
holiday, or when you are in another city, like now you are in Lagos, you're in the UK. I knew
Hmm.
you over 20 years ago. I knew where you were going to bed. Now I don't know where you are or where you go to. And then even before you got married, how did these principles of where you go to, where you take your feet to, the kind of feet you use affect purity? Watching your feet.
Oh yes, it does. It does affect it a lot, Auntie Etima. It affects it a lot because I'll tell you, I'll tell you another story. I'm full of stories. I'll tell you another story. I left Calabar. You remember when I left Calabar to go to Port Harcourt to start my school? And the devil will whisper something in your ear and say, right, you are here where nobody knows you, so you can do as you want, because your feet is far away from the people who know what your feet look like. You can do anything. Do you know that the first week I spent in Port Harcourt, I was walking towards the back gate in school, and someone from the back just shouted to me, just greeted me, "Man of God, good afternoon." Auntie Etima, I turned back and looked at this boy who was saying, "Man of God, good." I do not know him. He doesn't know me from Adam. Okay? So the thing about it is, what am I trying to say? If you think that nobody knows you where you are going and you want to go there and mess up and misbehave, see, people recognize God in you. So you might already be betraying the Christ, you betraying Christ, or Christ you carry on your inside without even knowing that people are knowing that you are betraying him. You get what I mean? If I was doing anyhow at that time, the guy would be, looking at me like, okay, what is this guy doing? Is he not supposed to be a man of God? Is he not supposed to be a pastor? Or is he not supposed to be a man of God? Bottom line, it is very important to watch where you go, where your feet takes you. Is very, very important. 3 gates: watch what you see, watch what you hear, watch where you go. And Chetima, it looks like this thing has cut you off. This network, are you still there? Hello? It's like Auntie Etima has been cut off. Okay, let's pray for Auntie Etima to come back. Auntie Etima, we command you, come back wherever you are. And she's been cut off. I think she's going to try to dial in, but I'm just going to continue talking. Yeah. So it's very important to watch where you go to. Very important to watch where your feet takes you, because you would go to places, you'll be seen in places that you probably shouldn't be seen in. For me personally, it was very, very important to me, because going to a place and having someone recognize you that you don't even know them before, okay, that just told me that I carried Christ on my inside and I'm not supposed to go anywhere just like that. So it was very important to me to watch where I went to, and that I carried that on even when I came over here to this country. I just wouldn't go anywhere for the sake of it. It was very important to me that I kept sane, and even when it looked like, what is this one? Your own is too much. Losing up a little. There was nothing to lose up, because I knew what I stood to gain by living the life of purity. Just 1 second. I'm trying to get Auntie Etima back on. Hello, Auntie Etima. Can you hear me?
Hello. Sorry
Auntie Etima,
about that. Network. Yes.
welcome back, man.
Yes,
I
yes.
carried on talking even when you were gone, and
Thank
I
you.
don't,
I
I
thank
don't.
God. Yeah, thank you.
In fact, what I said
Thank you
when
for
you were
that.
away is, bottom line, watching where I went to was very important to me, because the incident I just narrated told me that people recognize you even without you introducing yourself. So it's important that you have a conscious knowledge that you are carrying Christ on your inside, so that you don't go just anywhere. You don't just, when anyone says, come, let's go here, you are there. Let's go there, you are there. You carry something precious on your inside. And because of that, you should watch where you go to. And that was very, very important for me. Even coming here into the UK, when people were saying, right, okay, you can do anything and do as you please and go with the groove, go with society. It was very important to me to stay sane, keep my purity and not just go anywhere for the sake of it. And that also boils down to the friends you keep, doesn't it? It boils down to your company. It boils down to the people around you. Okay, because the people around you will encourage you, to do. If you have people or men of integrity around you, they're not going to be telling you, let's go to beer parlor, or, I don't know if beer parlor still exists, but they'll be encouraging you. They'll be encouraging you, let's go for this program here, let's do this there, and then there are other things you can do in the community, you could, take for example, people who live here in the UK. You could volunteer in a soup kitchen to help the needy, the poor. You could get involved in people's lives, there's a lot to do.
Yeah. Okay, so Emma, we need to run now. We've almost done 1 hour. I don't feel like stopping. I have more questions, like how did you meet your wife? How did you get her to marry and stuff like that. But we'll need to go for now. Would have this more often. Funny enough, I didn't even know you were in the youth ministry. Awesome. So this makes sense. You're welcome. You will be here every now and then.
I will come. I won't run away. You think I'm afraid? Me.
I know.
You think I'm afraid? I will come. I will go. If you invite me, I will come.
Tell us your last words to the boys, to the girls, every responsible teenager listening.
Okay. Okay. My last words for today, because I know we'll be back some other day. Number one, 3 things. Number one, be yourself. Just be yourself. Be yourself. If you are boring, stop being boring. On a serious note, be yourself. Okay, be yourself. Don't be too, carry, shoulder pad. I don't know if they still say shoulder pad. Don't be too puffy. Just be yourself. Okay, be yourself. Be who God has called you to be, and just be yourself. Number 2, and this is very important, behave like a Christian. A lot of people say they are Christians and they don't behave like a Christian. You hear them cursing, you hear them swearing, you hear them doing everything a Christian should not be doing. They're very angry at their parents, they're threatening their parents. People in this country, there are cases where you see people slapping their, I know that's another talk for another day. Teenagers getting arrested because they are fighting with their parents and stuff. Behave like you're a Christian. If you say you are a Christian, behave like a Christian. And then number 3, think about where you are coming from and where you are going to, because that's very, very important. It will help you shape your day-to-day activities. That is it. Done. Summarized everything. Full stop.
Where you are going to.
I don't finish. I not talk again.
Thank you so much. God bless you. I have been blessed. I have been blessed. We've spent here, and I know that. Thank you so much for your time. Is your wife anywhere close by? Okay, maybe next time.
She did downstairs. No, she did far. She's downstairs. Okay. She's not nearby. Making an overs next time.
Okay, next time we would have her come around. Yeah. Next time we'll have her come around, so that because like you said, we need to always picture the future. When you see someone, okay, young man, nice wife, nice family, loving Jesus, nice job, everything, only Jesus can give that. The joy, the peace, the good things of life, only Jesus can. To know that this is a better life than jumping or hopping from one bed to another, from one dirty relationship to another, hiding to watch pornography and thinking you're being smart, all those things that we do, and we just feel like, understand that these things Jesus will pay at the end of it all. I look at my purity friends, the ones from secondary school. Every one of them is doing well. Good
Mm.
jobs all around the world. And I'm like, purity really pays.
It
How
does.
else can I tell
It
the
does.
world? How else can I tell teenagers to maintain your
Mm.
white?
Mm.
Because purity will pay at the end of the day.
Mm. Is well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man.
I gotta go. We gotta go.
Bye bye.
Take care and
God bless ya. We'll see you
bless
again.
you.
Bye.
Bye.